Hey, how's it going? It's MEGAREACH here. So I've spent £720.56 on marketing for my music. Today I wanted to tell you all about the results.
You reach out to me.
Cool, so let's start with SubmitHub. So I have, as you can see here, spent a total of about $130 on credits here on SubmitHub, right? And I've got 200 credits in total. In fact, to be precise, I spent $136.80 on credits, and that's about £140.56. Okay, so we're looking at about 50p per credit, something around that area. So the way SubmitHub works is you upload your tracks, you buy credits, and then you can spend these credits on giving the tracks to the curators. So if I show you, if I click submit song, you'll be able to see exactly how to do this. So let's say I wanted to, got a track coming out at the end of August, right? I usually do this before I'm going to release. You can either use premium credits or you can use standard credits. Standard credits are free. I just use premium because you get guaranteed response within 48 hours. And then you just get to choose what type of curators to pick. So for example, you get loads and loads of different ones that you've probably heard of, some of them, and some of them you might not have done. And they're quite transparent because they actually rate based on influence, quality, and genre match. And it's usually, they're very honest about, all the different attributes of each influencer. So for example, let me see if I can find one that's quite big. So this guy here, influence of 8, obviously gets loads and loads of submissions, but actually approves quite a few of them. And you'll see they actually have good notes for each influencer as well. So it can be quite useful. What I have found in my experience, if I show you my results here, that I have submitted using about 179 credits, okay? And I've only got one track that has been shared by one influencer, okay, and 2 that have been approved to share when they come out. So that's a total of 3 approved tracks out of 179 credits used. And sometimes it's 1 credit to submit to the influencer. Sometimes it's 2 credits or 3, depending on here the price. Usually it's how big their audience is determines how much they cost usually. So yeah, that was my only thing I've experienced. I found that not too many influencers will accept your track. I think the reason why is because it's very competitive. I think because there's just so many people submitting music, and also because maybe it will get better as I start to build my audience, as my music starts to improve even more over the next year or so. Then maybe the rate will go up. But here's the thing I found really helpful with SubmitHub, which really helped me, and that is the feedback. Right, so every time you submit, if they decline, they have to leave you some feedback. And they can't just copy and paste, like it has to be handwritten feedback. And I found that although sometimes this feedback can be maybe a little bit hard to take because it's like, you love your music, actually it's been one of the biggest catalysts of me improving my work over the past month or two. Just submitting to a load of creators, seeing what they say, and then just kind of handpicking the stuff that I agree with and the stuff that I don't agree with. Like some of it I just completely disagree with it. Some of it kind of annoys me because I know it's kind of true. And that's usually the feedback that stings at first, but is the most helpful. And so, yeah, they'll be very honest and just say exactly what they think. Like this person says, wow, great vibe on this tune, but would like to hear more grabbing melody line we can sink our teeth into. Heading in the right direction though, right? So good quality feedback. Maybe the next tune I work on, I'll do a better melody line. So that's my experience with SubmitHub. I'd definitely check it out. It can be good. And when I get these tracks shared, I'll share with you the results. I'll be honest with this creator here pretty much got me no streams at all, but I'll let you know what happens with Keep Walking Music and Future House Cloud. Excited about those coming up in August. So that's SubmitHub. That's the first platform I used to do a campaign. So yeah, about $136 spent, and not too much plays, but definitely useful feedback. The next platform is Spotify Ad Studio. And with Spotify Ad Studio, you have to spend a minimum of £250 on any campaign. Okay, you can't spend any less. So that's something to think about if you're thinking about using Spotify Ad Studio. So what I did is I did a campaign where I targeted people who listen to a similar artist as my tracks. So I decided to choose Avicii as my similar artist, and I targeted people who like Avicii's music, right? So personally, I think that might have been a bit of a mistake, because it's a very, very broad audience, the type of people who like Avicii. There's people who just like pop music, it includes people who like sort of country music, includes people who like EDM, includes people who like dance, house. You know, it's such a huge, broad spectrum of people who like Avicii. It probably doesn't necessarily mean they'll like my music too, because my music sounds different, right? Obviously, right? So maybe I'll try a narrower audience, more specific taste range next time. But nevertheless, here are the results. Right, so I spent £250, served 32,000 ads. Sorry, right? And it was a frequency of 1.31. So that means on average, each person heard the ad 1.3 times. So obviously, they all either heard it maybe once or twice or 3 times. But an overall 1.3 times per person, and a 91% completion rate. So only 9% skipped it. If you can skip it, I don't even know if you can. But here's the important stuff, right? Out of all these ads that were served, it only generated me 13 new listeners, right? So as far as I'm concerned, that seems like quite a bad result, paying £250 in ad spend for just 13 listeners. I think that's actually not the best result. I mean, we'll see if it has a long-term effect on streams and things, but from what I can see now, it hasn't really been worth the money. Now, there's, like any marketing campaign, there's so many different factors you have to take into account, right? There's the location you're sending the ads to, the targeting you're using, the actual ad that you used. For me, it was just me doing a voiceover over a 30-second clip of my first release. Now, if I did another ad with a voiceover on a different song, maybe it would perform better. Maybe if I used not people who are into Avicii, but maybe if I used a different audience altogether, it would have a completely different result. Maybe it would be way better. But it certainly needs more testing. It's certainly one to think about if you have a slightly higher budget, because you know, you need to spend £250 just to test one demographic and one ad. So definitely one to think about there. But, you know, I see it as a test, and quite frankly, I'm happy that I've invested this money to find out what it would be like. So that's Spotify Ad Studio. And then we've got Google Ads. Okay, so this is actually, I used YouTube ads for this campaign. And I actually used a brand recommendation ad. Okay, so this is where you get somebody to click on a link on the right hand side of YouTube, to click on the link and watch your video. Okay, so not a video ad that interrupts people when they're watching videos, but it's an ad that comes up on the side that they click on, and then they decide to go and actually watch your video and check out your music. So I thought that would perform a bit better. Anyway, I don't know if I can show you the ad, but it basically just said, it was a question: will this track be featured at Tomorrowland? ? Right? So I know the answer. It's almost definitely not, right? Unless some miracle happens. But I thought that with that kind of headline, it would attract the type of people who would be into my music, which is lovers of EDM, right? So that's what I tried. And let's just talk about the results. Okay, so I spent £366 on the adverts, and I got 11.9k views on the YouTube videos. Okay, 11.9k views. It's also worth noting that I got 42 subscribers on YouTube based off this ad spend as well, which is actually quite good, because if I release new tracks, hopefully they'll watch those videos as well. So I did 2 ads, one for each video. One for my track Holy Water, the other one for my track Moving On. You can see Holy Water, Moving On, and these are the results. So I paid £366 and got almost 12,000 views. So this is not bad. I mean, at least I've got some kind of volume of people listening to the music, which is cool. But the thing I can't prove is whether these people will actually turn into long-term fans, whether these subscribers will actually stick around. I mean, I just don't know at this stage. I guess I'll have to report back in the future. But if you do want to bump up your views on your videos and get people to watch them on YouTube, at least now you have an idea of how much you're going to be paying, and it looks like about 3p per view is what it's going to cost you. And who knows, if you get quite a few views on one of the ads and the track has almost hit potential, it could certainly be enough for maybe the algorithm to really bump up your views, recommend it to people, and maybe get it going a little bit viral. Who knows, it might be worth testing, at least with say £5 a day or something. So yeah, that was Google Ads. And then, yeah, that pretty much encompasses all of the 3 platforms. But I wanted to show you the overall result on my Spotify stats. So I have here my profile. I've got 44 monthly listeners now, right? So not exactly Post Malone yet, but we're getting there. Okay. And in terms of audience, I now have 22 followers. Okay, so some people, quite a lot of people who listen to the ad on Spotify Music actually clicked follow, which I was quite pleasantly surprised about, actually. And a lot of people clicked save as well on the track that they heard in the ad. So maybe that's an indication that these people really did quite like the tune, and maybe they will stick around. I mean, who knows? Right, but one thing I've learned for sure is that it seems to me that there's not going to be some super shortcut way to build an audience as a musician. Like, I certainly can't just turn on a ton of advertising and expect to just create a fan base. This is probably not something that is going to work. I think what I'm realizing is that slow, steady growth in the most organic way possible seems to be more effective. One thing that I have been doing, actually quite consistently, is going on Instagram and finding tracks in certain hashtags that I like and just commenting on them if I like them. Right, so for example, if I see a track and I think it's got a really nice drum sound or something, I'll do that. Right, as you can see here, I'm interacting with people all the time and commenting on their posts and like genuinely giving feedback if I like something and just being encouraging. I see all these people saying thank you to me for doing that, right? Just genuinely looking for music I like, liking it. And quite often what you'll find is they'll come and check your stuff out too, and other people looking at the same track that you're looking at will click on your profile and come and click back and check you out and follow you. And so what this has had an impact of me going from having, say, 20 followers a couple weeks ago to now having 50 followers. So this is something I can say is an organic strategy. If you can just put in maybe half an hour a day and just go and comment and like on 5 people's posts, maybe with a half an hour per day, it's certainly time consuming, but it definitely gets you a result and it's free. Right? For example, I had 20 followers here. That was in July, right? Basically a month ago, and now I've got 51, which, you know, isn't the biggest amount of followers ever, but if you did this consistently for like a year or something, as you can imagine, you'll start to pick up, and the amount of views and likes on your content will grow, and who knows, one of them might start to pick up and get a little bit more traction, and that's how the snowball's going to grow. So this is a little update on the marketing I've been trying so far. I'll certainly report back once I've got the SubmitHub curators have actually submitted their tracks to their audiences, and we'll see how fast this stuff moves along. All right. Thanks so much for watching this week's vlog, and I'll catch you next Monday.